look, let's just be real. If you've got a person, okay, let's just say me or a person like Russ or somebody like that. We've been in ministry, right? We're in ministry. We work in it all the time. Okay, yeah. For folks like us who are in it in the church working all the time, you could probably call on a guy like that and give them a day or two notice, and they could probably put something together. For somebody that doesn't, that's a bit more challenging. And you got to think, again, like we said, most of our teachers throughout the brotherhood in the church, they're not preachers. They're guys that are stepping up and filling in, and I appreciate the heck out of those guys. But those guys got jobs, secular jobs that they work outside of here. They work 50, 60 hours a week. They got families, they got kids. You throw a Bible class in there on top of that, and like, hey, in 2 days I need you to teach. Some things you don't it's out of your control. Okay? But if it is in your control, man, don't drop that on somebody. Don't drop that on somebody, because that is a nightmare in somebody's life. And they'll probably get it done, right? But anyway, just stuff to be mindful on, because that's really a not cool move there. Okay, last thing. What do we got? 2 minutes? Let's just get into this while we can. I just want to try to keep going as far as we can, because there's a lot of material. Let's just kind of talk about finding things to teach. Kind of moving on from the prep. This can sometimes be a real challenge and a struggle, believe it or not. Finding things to teach. Like, yes, we have the entire Bible to choose from, but sometimes even finding something or deciding on something can still be a challenge. Okay? I think a lot of times it might just be due to inexperience. Maybe, people aren't as comfortable with the word yet, or they don't feel confident handling a specific topic. And so then sometimes what happens is that people may use the Bible more or less as just like a jumping off point, and then they might not ever go back to it. They might not go back to it. And they just kind of start, just plugging in all of their own opinions and their own ideas for a class, and not really going back to the Bible or using the Bible. It might also be that, since they're not that confident in teaching through the Bible, and so maybe they reach for some kind of spiritual book, okay, that someone else has written. And maybe it's a book they've read, maybe it's a book that they like, they've benefited from, and they want to share some of those thoughts and some of those ideas from that book. Now, that's not exactly wrong to do, okay? It's not exactly wrong, and I'm not saying that it is. I think it's totally okay to grab a book, grab some of the ideas from said book, okay, that you might think are good, and use it in conjunction with the Bible, okay? So, like, mainly using the Bible, and then maybe some of those ideas that you want to piggyback off of and use a little bit, okay? I think that's okay to do. I've got some books that I'd like to do that with. Look, I read a lot of books. I mean, we read books all the time. There's a lot of good things out there that you can, bring up and talk about in a Bible class or whatever. But, I mean, anybody read the Screwtape Letters? There's some ideas. You could talk about those, I'm rereading that one right now. But anyway, so you can do that, and that's fine, but we do need to be careful, and I want to encourage us to try and reach for God's book first. Finding things to teach. Reach for God's book first, okay? Before we reach for any other book, all right? Remember, no other book is going to be able to help us with our lives better than the Bible does. No other book is going to be as relevant as the Bible is. All right, so go to God's book first before we reach for and pick up any other spiritual book necessarily, okay? Just remember those things. Somebody once said that we need to put the Bible back in Bible classes. I kind of agree with that sentiment. I don't think it's totally out, but I think in some places the Bible's rarely brought into a Bible class anymore. And that's terrible. So let's make sure that we do keep the Bible in Bible classes, okay? Anyway, that's what we need. Yeah, okay. I'll just hit that next time. But basically, when finding things to teach, teach the Bible.